This just in, a federal judge permanently blocking President Trump's executive order to ban funding for sanctuary cities that don't cooperate with immigration officials, calling it, quote, unconstitutional. Now, many of these sanctuary cities are in California, where our next guest wants to be the next governor, and he's running on the Republican ticket. He vows to undo the liberal policies destroying the state. Right now, the taxes are through the roof. John Cox joins us. John, what's your reaction to this judge's ruling?
Well, this judge is a politician. He's a bundler for Obama. He's made contributions before he was on the bench. He actually worked in the Justice Department handling immigration, and he said in his hearings that he wasn't going to rule on decisions that he'd worked on was at the Department of Justice. You know, the problem with this, Brian, is that it's all about politics. It's all about scaring people. It's all about arousing anger from some people and fear in others. And it's demagoguery, and it's got to stop. I'm a businessman looking to turn California around. And, you know, in the business world, you've got to search for solutions. And the solution here would be to make sure that people understand that, you know, the police are there to help them and secure their environment and make sure that they can put criminals in jail. I mean, this sends just the absolute wrong message about going after criminals.
Right. This is protecting the people that are here. This is you have a choice. You have a certain amount of tax dollars going to your community. Do you want to give it to people who actually pay taxes, or are you going to give it to illegals here, some of which are criminals, in their midst? It's a sanctuary. John, true or false? A sanctuary city often functions as a magnet for illegals.
Well, because the message that's being sent by politicians, like the one I'm running against, Gavin Newsom, who said, oh, you know, we have to have sanctuary cities because nurses and teachers will turn their students into ICE. You know, there are no teachers and nurses in California turning their students over to ICE. I mean, it's all about scaring people, and he's a demagogue, and that's the problem with this.
This is what you do. If you are here legally, walk up to a officer and say, if somebody's here not breaking the law illegally, and you see them, will you toss them out? The answer is no. They will still go in and report an MS-13 or a criminal in their midst, a drug dealer here illegally. They're not. They just don't have the manpower to throw out anybody who is here illegally or was brought here as a 3 or 4-year-old. Next, I want to talk about what's happening also in California, and they're talking about taking out our national anthem again, not kneeling during it, because the third verse, they say, is racist. Let's take a look at what that third verse says in the excerpt that's causing the controversy. Let's just put that up if we can. It says this: many of these sanctuary, let's go, can we see it right now? Okay, their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge can save the hireling and slave from the terror of fight or the gloom of the grave. It was written as a poem. This is the third verse, never sang. You know what it was intended for? Francis Scott Key said this is for American slaves who fought with the British against Americans. Now, slavery, no one's going to say 200 plus years or tomorrow it was ever right. But that was what this intended to do.
I would be willing to bet a lot of money that most Americans don't even know about that additional language. And, of course, all this is being done to get attention, and that's the problem. What we got to try to do is solve these problems. The problem is police brutality. We ought to have a debate and a discussion in this country about people who are abused by the police, which I'm sure there are, and people who disregard the police and basically don't respect the police. We all want the police to be in our neighborhoods because they protect us, and we don't want to have a relationship with the police that makes it an adversarial one. We got to try to solve those issues. The politicians in these pronouncements only serve to divide us, and that's not a good thing.
And also make us question the greatness of our country.
Absolutely, and the people who died for that, defending our right for that banner.
John Cox, you're an uphill battle, but Republicans have won in that state before, one of which is named Ronald Reagan.
Absolutely. And he's from Illinois. I'm from Illinois. The state is being made unaffordable by the Democrats. We're going to change it.
Nice to meet you, John.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your business success.
Thank you.